Hello friends, welcome back. Today we're going to check out the Cymric. Yes, that is how it is pronounced. She is not pronounced Cymric, she is pronounced Cymric or Cymric. I suppose you gotta roll your R's because of course she was named after Wales, and the Welsh name for Wales is Cymru, I believe, something like that. And as such, she is pronounced Cymric. She was an ocean liner for the White Star Line, built by Holland and Wolff, and she was launched in 1897. She was the final cattle steamer built for White Star. After this, they fully moved over to refrigerated cargo holds. For example, the Afri class that I built, that we have over there. She also transported some passengers. She had a lot of first class in the main deckhouse here, but she also had a lot of steerage or third class passengers in the stern. So yeah, I'm reading off. I have a little text here that I'm reading. And she was also the first White Star ship to focus more on luxury compared to speed. Now, of course, there's been a lot of like cargo ships and such that White Star hadn't really focused much on speed on with. But for example, the Teutonic, she was very much a speed-oriented ship. But after this, and indeed with the Oceanic, which came out 2 years later, speed was not a focus anymore, and White Star only focused on comfort and luxury and stability and all that. The Cymric carried cargo and troops during the Second Boer War and also during World War I, and she was torpedoed and sunk by U-20, which was the same U-boat that sank the Lusitania a year prior, and then 5 people died in total. I should also say credit where credit is due to Wanted on Voyage. This is a great blog that does a lot of research into ships, like spotlights, certain ships and ship classes, and it's just one of the best reads on the internet for ocean liners. So please do check it out. And as always, of course, credit to Alex and Sven for providing me with deck plans, photographs and other historical info. I'm infinitely grateful to all of you guys. Now, let's get into the tour. Let's enough yapping from my end here. So, let's go from the top all the way down, as we usually do. I'm gonna turn off shaders because it's kinda laggy. So up here, of course, as always, is the flying bridge, and then on the deck below is the wheelhouse. Wheelhouse certified for use in navigating the ship. This kind of text here, this is in a photo of Oceanic, of her bridge. So I decided, why not just add it here? It would be kind of fun. Oh, I forgot to close that door. Yeah, here's the wheelhouse, and then after we have the chart room, and then we have a staircase here leading down into the officers' quarters. We have the captain here in the middle, and his bedroom. I'm really small here, so that's why I can fly around very easily. And then the officers, they look like this. So, very similar. That's that. Keep in mind, we don't have full plans for the Cymric. So, this is all based on other White Star ships of the time. So, the Afri class, for example. And others. So let's head back here to the boat deck, or the, I guess, maybe promenade deck. No, I think this is the boat deck. We have most of the lifeboats here, and this is only meant for first class up here. Let's go forward, and we enter the first saloon. It wasn't really called first class yet. It was that was a little bit later. So first saloon class here. This staircase is, we don't have a photo of this staircase, but since her lounge, smoke room, dining room are all almost identical in style to the Celtic, which came out was it 4 years later? Yeah. I thought that I would base it off Celtic, so this is very similar to her, with a skylight here. Yeah, let's check out the library or lounge. Same thing, really. So it's very small. This is honestly more like the, I forget, the Republic, Canopic, Romanic, those 3 ships. They had a similar layout, and I believe also a similar style, so it's Wistar really just did the same style over and over. Let's head aft here. We have a little bar with a skylight, very nice, which serviced the smoke room for first class. This is even more common. This style was used in so many ships of the White Star Line. I don't know exactly how many ships, but at least there must be like 15 at least. And it was only with the Olympic class that they stopped using that style. Right, let's go down one deck. So first class, this is where most of their cabins were, and they were all like this. Very not basic. I shouldn't say basic. They're very nice, but there weren't really any like fancy suites on board, as far as I know. Instead, they all had this one style. I don't even know if there were no like suites. There was not any private baths, I don't believe. So yeah, she was very much not super focused on luxury, even though that was the selling point. We have some bathrooms, lavatories in the middle here. The rooms continue all the way back, and then we're out on the stern here. Let's go to the bow again. Let's go for the forecastle here. As you can see here, the very front of the forecastle deck is painted, or not painted at all. Well, I guess it is painted, but it is bare steel. There was no planking, it seems, based on photographs. So we have the anchor crane here in the front, hatches, and much like other cargo ships of the White Star Line at the time, they had these removable decks and doors, so you could open this up completely, which would make loading cargo much easier. We have some winches here, and then through this door we have some cattle compartments, the livestock. This was all removed in a refit fairly closely after her introduction, and they replaced this with more first-class cabins, and the dining room here, which we'll get to now, was expanded a bit, I believe. So yeah, very similar to Celtic, just a bit smaller. And then here's the staircase again. We have the chief steward on this side, and then in this direction there are just more first-class cabins. So here's the stewardess's cabin, and some cabins leading all the way aft. On this side we have the pantry for first class, and the galley, pantry and galley for first class. There is a bar here as well. This is just a general galley. We have the butcher shop, baker shop, and of course do note that there wasn't a second class on the ship. There was only first and third. So here are most of the crew quarters. We have some cooks, butcher, storekeeper, chief cook and baker, confectioner and storekeeper. Here is a staircase that leads down to the deck below. We have a lavatory for the crew. Stewards has a little open compartment. We have some boilermakers, and then here is the engineers' quarters, where those begin. You also have the entrance here for the engine room leading down. Third, second, and then the chief engineer. We also have the refrigeration and refrigeration engineers and electricians. I struggle to say that word always. And then we have the engineer's lavatory as well as the ice house. And now we're out at the end here, and of course on this side it's just more cabins. We also have the doctor's office on this side. This is where he had his little domain. And now we're out here on the stern deck, so this is only third class from this point on. So you can see the boats were up on... I don't know what these are called, like holders, cups. I like to call them on stilts. I think it's pretty funny. I think eventually they did remove them and just put them on the floor though. Not floor, but on the deck. So here are two third class public rooms. So I believe this is the general room. Oh, some lamps popped off. Need to fix that on the download. Yeah, general room, which is where they hang out. Their lounge essentially. There's a staircase leading down. If you walk across these two walkways, of course this was another one of those loading well deck things that you could open. If you walked over here, you got to the smoke room. There's another staircase, and here's the smoke room. Living on the side, there we go, or outside. There's a long walkway here, similar to the Olympic in the 30s or post-war. She had a long walkway added over her well deck, or her aft well deck. This is also how I believe Celtic and Cymric had it. They also had one of these big gaps here. Some more boats here on the poop deck. There is the steering gear house in here. We believe that this is one of the first White Star ships to have these new modern steering gear engines. The older ones had a Teutonic style, where the engines were sort of like, they were horizontal, laying down. But I believe that this is one of the first ones to have these vertical ones, so to speak. And of course up here is the docking bridge. Yeah, not much more to say about that. Let's go to the front. Again, we can actually go down here through this open hatch. More livestock compartments here. There's a staircase leading up and down. And also here we have the remaining crew quarters. So here are the seamen's quarters. We have the seamen's lavatory. And then on the other side we have the same, except it was for the firemen. And then, yeah, all the way back we just have livestock, horses here in the middle. Here's the staircase we saw earlier. It's also an entrance for the firemen, leading down to the boiler rooms. There are two. And another entrance here for the engineers. If we make our way aft here, we get to the stairs that leads to the food stores, so we can just check that out real quick. Potato locker, very important. Milk and butter, vegetables, meat, all that kind of stuff. And here is the hatch that would service this space. And then here are some, I think this is supposed to be the refrigerated hold. Let's head back up. And I guess we'll go back again and then down this massive well deck here. And then aft here into the third class entrance into their dining saloons. So they were here in the stern. I based this off of Celtic and Cymric. And Baltic and Adriatic for that matter. There's a store here in the very end of the stern. And there's a small little pantry here in the middle. Oh, let's head back out again. Here in the middle are some lavatories on this side for the men. Lavatories and baths for the men. We also have an entrance here, and then there are yeah, some cabins here around the staircase. And for this side, it's a women's lavatory. And then as you head aft, you get to more and more cabins. Cabins upon cabins, there are a lot of these. Heading all the way aft. And then you can head down one more deck to even more cabins. There are so many cabins. And then there are some of these very large open kind of dormitories here as well. So there's a mix of both. Yeah. So that's pretty much that for third class. There's some more lavatories in the stern. And that's pretty much that. So the rest of the ship is just cargo holds. There are in total 3 decks for livestock. We have this small area here for some. Then we have this deck and this deck, so 2 decks below for livestock. And then below this we just have cargo. That's pretty much that. Finally, to round this off, in the middle here we have the boiler and engine room, so let's head down this fiddly to get to the engine room here, leading all the way down. These catwalks that they lead down. There are some fans here that bring air down from the top so the firemen don't die. We have the number 2 engine room here. I've forgotten to add in coal around on these floors here, so I need to remember to do that. Yeah, we have 3 double-ended boilers. And then there are also... Oh. That's a mistake. There are also 3 single-ended boilers here. I think when I filled the coal bunkers here with coal, I forgot to clear this this walkway here, so I need to fix that. We'll just say that there's too much coal on the ship right now. And then finally, here is the engine room. There's a refrigeration and engine room. Those 2 words. Those annoy me. But yeah, there are 2 engines powering 2 propellers. Obviously, we have a bunch of pumps, tanks, and machinery and equipment on the sides. There are also these electric engines on this platform above here that powers the ship's electricity. Let me just fix this here. And that's pretty much that. And then here are the propeller shafts leading all the way back to here. So, that is the Cymric. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Take care, guys. I'll see you in the next one. On to the Oceanic. I mean, we're already working on her, but she's almost done. Not much left now. See you guys later. Take care. Bye bye.